Hey guys, Frankie Bear Gaming here, so picking it back up again with Monster Hunter World. Now, last time we had just completed our first quest, which was slaying some Jagras. Now, we'd just swapped up our weapons here, so we're going to be using the dual blades. I don't think he wears them like he does the longsword. But we'll go and pick up our next assignment.
Alright, now that you've got some materials, why don't we head over to the smithy to see what you can do with them?
Okay. Alright, let's see if we picked up anything we can craft with.
There you are, Fiver.
Alright, so pretty standard stuff. I don't think we want to upgrade anything. Just want to see what we can make. We'll have a look at armor first. That doesn't look too bad. It's a fair bit better than what we've currently got. I don't mind the bone armor. I think we'll start making the bone armor first and get that set finished. Cool little cutscene there. Okay. So from what I've seen, you can add these to your wish list, and what that does is basically every time you get back from a mission or from on the field or whatever, if you've picked up the required materials to make something on your wish list, it'll basically tell you on screen without you having to race over, you know, back over here, make sure that you've got everything.
Hey there, partner. Ah! You can pick up quests from the quest board, too. It lists the same quests that I've got, so don't worry about having to check two places. We're on the hunt!
Okay, so this is just talking about a voucher that you get for logging in every day. So it basically just gives you extra rewards, doubles money, so you can have up to 5. I've got 2 at the moment. So you're probably better off saving them for later missions. I still have to suppress a little giggle every time I see my character's hair and face. Especially in the cutscenes where he just looks so serious, and you see that bright pink hair flapping around. It's beautiful makeup on his wrinkled face.
Okay, our job is to cull a certain number of Kestodon. Recently, their numbers have been getting out of hand.
Want to get going?
Alright, so I don't think we've run into these ones before. I think that's them just over there. So I think we're still in the tutorial side of things.
Ah, there we are. Those, my friend, are Kestodon. Let's see you take him out on your own. Huh. Be careful.
So the dual blades feel a lot more fun than the longsword. Granted, I didn't give the longsword much of a go. Oops. Man, I keep rolling right into that. Did it again.
Not bad.
Okay. Oh, I got to cut this one up
All right.
twice.
Let's look for another group. Be careful. The Kestodon are the least of your worries. There are a lot bigger monsters lurking in this forest. The endemic life around here can come in handy during a hunt. Try to learn as much as you can about them.
So from what I understand, the endemic life are those things like those birds. So last time I caught one of those little rabbits with this thing. But from what I understand, the ones that you catch in the net, you can actually have them as pets in your room. And these plants here, so as you just saw, if you have one of them around, you can cut it with one of your weapons, or if you've
Over here!
sheathed them, just press circle or whatever and it pops open, restores your health. It's basically just like a potion.
Huh. Be careful.
Oh, that one's new. Alright, so the only things with these weapons are they seem to lose sharpness fairly quick, but I guess you're using them a lot quicker, doing a lot more hits than the longsword does in a shorter amount of time, so it makes more sense, I guess. Damn it. You can tell that I haven't gotten used to dodging or rolling yet, at all. I should probably use lock on a lot more than I have been. So it looks like your weapon has different sharpness levels, so if I'm not mistaken, I'm actually on the last one now. Now, from what I've read, when your weapon runs out of sharpness, it just means that your attacks will basically bounce back a lot more often.
I think I found something.
Alright, we'll just finish carving all of these and then we'll go up and see what he's talking about. Got to remember to do all these as well. Since we're going for the bone armor set, we're going to need a lot of this. No, no.
Here. Look at those Kestodon. Something's up with them. Now, now!
Gotcha!
Alright.
Alright, partner. New assignment incoming. Take down that Great Jagras. If you're not ready, you can return to base and take on the Great Jagras quest later. Don't try to engage a monster when your health is low. It's smarter to focus on healing.
Want to get going? If you need to call your friends for help, go to the menu and select SOS Flare to signal them. And you're going to need friends when you go up against some of the tougher monsters. In order for the scout flies to better track a target monster, we need to keep finding traces of it. Like footprints, for example.
Okay, so as I was saying, I think we've got enough to make at least some of the new bone armor sets that we wanted. But I think we'll stay on... Try to take down this Great Jagras. This is going to be the first big monster that we go up against in the game. So just make sure we're full up on everything. So I believe this is one of the newer aspects, having to find different kind of tracks, footprints, all that kind of stuff to actually find where the monster's going. And I believe they've got set locations that they go back to
Good.
Once they've been damaged enough. Alright, so it looks like we've got the track now. Just make sure we're scavenging as much stuff as possible early game. Now I'm not doing as much exploring as I'd like to, but I do know that later on you can just go into the world without having to be in a quest.
Okay, we've tracked the Great Jagras enough for the scout flies to lead us to it. You're less likely to lose sight of a monster if you use the focus camera.
But yeah, as I was saying, you can go into the world later on without having to accept any kind of quest or anything like that, and just be able to explore, hunt down monsters, that kind of stuff. So I think that's when we'll do most of our exploring, seeing what's in the world. But for now, we'll just focus on the quest.
You need to load the slinger with some ammo. See anything useful lying around?
The dual blades are close-range weapons made for hitting prey with a flurry of attacks. Demon mode is super strong, but it eats up stamina.
So I think it's a bit like the long blade, where you have to have that bar underneath the sharpness charged before you can use it. I'm definitely liking the dual blades a lot more than I like the longsword. But I will give the longsword another go later on, when I've gotten a bit more used to the controls and everything like that. Another little cool detail is, if you actually look, where you're hitting the monster the most, you'll notice that scars start to pop up on the skin to show that it's damaged.
Now's your chance to deal some serious damage.
Oh. And there we go. So once you do enough damage to it, they actually start to run off. And when you damage it enough, it'll go back to its den to either sleep or eat to try and regain health. I'm not sure if there's a cap to how much health it can restore in an amount of time. Like say for instance, if you just left it, if it was able to restore all of its health, or if it wanted to restore to a certain point. Might be a good time to give it a quick little sharpen while it swallows whatever the hell that was. And we don't have anything in the slinger. So those little glowing nuts, I think,
Dodge
up
their
there.
attacks. You don't want to take hits like that head on.
They're just part of some of the things that you can actually use in the environment to hurt monsters. So I was reading on some of the traps that you can find, and they range from, you know, ivy traps to some later on that I'm not 100% sure of. But I didn't really want to read too much into it and spoil the whole game. But if you notice what my Palico just did there...
Oh boy, that monster's really mad now. Be ready for some vicious attacks.
Oh boy. But yeah, it gave me what's called a Vigor Wasp, and that's just one of the many Palico abilities that you can unlock throughout the game. So it will do it randomly, but you can also... Where is it? There's an item down here somewhere, I'm not sure if I've unlocked it yet, which will let you basically call it a certain number of times. I don't think I've unlocked it yet though, to be able to call it whenever
Monster's
I want.
been immobilized. Now's your chance.
Alright, so we broke a part off of it.
When monsters are running away, use the scout flies as a guide and they'll lead you right to them. You can use that as slinger ammo. Great for getting a monster's attention or creating a distraction. That's a piercing pod, a powerful type of slinger ammo. That's able to pierce the thick shell of monsters.
There we go, so you can see how it's limping now, so that means we've damaged it enough to the point where it's going to race home.
Chances are it'll retreat to its nest to recuperate.
There we go. But I find it really cool how they give little physical changes to the monsters to indicate their health. I'm not sure how it's going to affect flying monsters though. Those little things. I accidentally hit one in my last video, but pretty obvious what it does. Releases a flash that blinds all the monsters that see it. So it doesn't affect you, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if other monsters can hit it and maybe blind you instead. I also know that some monsters will have, well, body parts that can actually be cut off that give you, you know, separate rewards.
Okay, let's head back
Oh, there we
to
go.
the old man.
That wasn't too hard, so guess that's pretty expected though for one of the first monsters that we get to fight. And there we go. On the right hand side you can see that I've got 1 out of 2 of the materials I need for the bone helm, but the bone greaves are basically completed, so all I've got to do is go up there and I know that I can make that. So that's what happens when you add weapons or armor to your wish list, which is a pretty cool feature. It means you don't have to keep checking every few times you get back from a quest.
I think we got a lead.
Maybe. Let's check it out. Hey. Well, you were right. There's our mark. Something's got him agitated. Look over there. What in the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You think it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
Alright, so we've got a giant chunk of glowing magma rock just sitting there. And I think that Puke thing will be our next target. So we saw from the cutscene that it spits some kind of poison looking thing, so I might switch to a ranged weapon for that one, just to make it a bit easier.
I see.
Uh-huh. Want to get going?
Once the camp is set up, you can go after that Puke.
I wonder where the resource center is.
So let's quickly head up to the armory and see what we can make for our bone set.
Oi, oi!
Oh, but now there's other pieces of armor as well. Oh, that looks pretty nice too. I think we'll make the bone set for now. Okay, so we don't have enough to make both, or all of them. So we'll add these ones to the wish list as well. So it doesn't look like you can make anything for the Kestodon apart from the Greaves. They do have some fairly high stats though. We'll see if we can make our Palico as well. That's pretty cute. I might have to make him that. So, interesting little fact, your Palico has a level, and it will level up as you go through, you know, different missions, stuff like that. However, you yourself don't have a level. All of your stats come from the armor and the weapons that you build. Alright. Might give this a go. There we go.
Oh, you are too good to me. Don't let me down.
Okay, so this is just talking about the kind of quests that you can undertake. So these ones, bounties. So you've got the registered ones, which will basically just be, you know, gather or slay a certain amount of monsters or items, or gather a certain amount of items. The critical ones are for camps or things that are related to the story, and those are automatically registered, so, you know, you can't redo it or anything like that. And limited ones, they kind of look... oh wait, no. So I actually don't have any limited quests at the moment, probably because I'm too low level. But if you did have them, those would be for the higher level things like, you know, slaying 2 high rank monsters, stuff like that, that are there for any limited time. So for now, let's just go and accept all these, because we might be able to do those while we're out looking for this camp.
Okay, let's get this expedition underway. Meet me at the gate. Right now, we're in Astera. If you want to go on an expedition, open your world map and choose your destination. For this expedition, we need to head to the ancient forest. We can expand expeditions as we delve further into the new world. Pretty good incentive to explore, right?
So this is what I was talking about before. The expedition is where you can just go out, look for things. There's no kind of time limit. Things will respawn, so it's a great place to go farming for resources. The monsters will despawn quicker though, so you can see them on the right hand side. It has one monster with a question mark, so that's something that I haven't discovered yet. then I believe that's the T-Rex that we saw in the opening cutscene that was fighting the Great Jagras. So those will despawn much quicker than a normal quest, so this probably isn't the best way to go farming for items with the larger monsters. You can also see there it says upsurge of bone piles, which means that there are just more bone piles around to basically farm. So each time you go on an expedition, that will be different. Could be mushrooms, it could even be monsters, I believe. I could be wrong on that though.
Let's look for the campsite.
If I get to the campsite first, or if you're lost, open up your map or use your scout flies to track me.
So as you can see here, there aren't any items in the supply box, so they don't give you anything for going through an expedition.
You'll go on an expedition. There's no time limit or cap on how many times you're allowed to faint, which means you can explore to your heart's content.
Now this is interesting. Let's report our findings to everyone at the resource center when we get back.
So what that tutorial before was talking about was basically what I was saying. So there's no kind of time limit. You can faint as many times as you want basically, and you're never going to get kicked out. If you complete a quest and you decide not to go back to camp, you'll automatically be put into an expedition, and you can basically go back to your handler at the camp. Oh, fishing master. We might come back to him later. But yeah, you can go back to camp and take a new quest from the handler, and because you're already in the world, so the Ancient Forest, if you choose a quest that's taking place in the Ancient Forest, you'll basically have to wait less time for it to load, is what they're saying. Because obviously the map's already loaded, won't have to reload it again.
You can assign a target destination for your scout flies on the map.
So from what I can tell at the moment, it looks like those footprints and that carcass were left by that monster with the question mark, so I'm not sure what kind of monster it is yet. And you can see that we've just completed a bounty. So we can take that one back when we get back to camp. And a lot of these footprints around. I don't think I've caught one of you yet. So these things here, these are what your little palico will start with. They're called Vigor Wasp, I believe. Yeah, Vigor Wasp. And basically if you see one in the wild, you can hit it and it'll basically just put out a mist and heal you, just like what your palico does. Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah!
Alright, I might go do that one later. For now, let's focus on finding the camp and just gathering a few extra resources as well.
If we don't take care of that pest, the camp won't last a night.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it looks like a new assignment's ready. Now it's just going to be for hunting that Kulu Yaku.
To return to base from an expedition, open the wildlife map and switch to the world map. Then select Astera.
Your wildlife map keeps track of where you are and where the scout flies are taking you. You can also use it to keep tabs on monsters.
So you can actually pin monsters, even farming locations, and your scout flies will actually lead you there. And this is a weird track. So just trying to collect as much as possible.
The light bow gun is a lightweight ranged weapon that's great for quick attacks and maneuverability.
Oh, what's that? Oh, whatever it is doesn't look good.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's poison. That's a nifty little trick. So the bowgun's pretty fun to use. Looks like you've got different kinds of ammo. So we've got the normal ammo, which is infinite. I'm assuming that's just a stronger version. Let's give pierce ammo a shot. Just get a bit closer. So it does a small rat damage. So we'll just follow this thing along. Now, from what I read, it looks like each monster has different levels for when you track it. So because I've gotten a few great Jagras tracks before, he's automatically shown on the map this time. Circle do. Oh. I'm not too sure what that does. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that does a lot of damage. It needs to be a bit closer. Nah, wasted it. Oh. So this here, I believe, is actually one of the traps. You can see them marked on the map. It has a little monster icon just there. So we'll see if we can set this off somehow. Gotta get him over here first. Alright, so shooting it didn't work. Gotta shoot the tree. Alright, so I have to find out how these ones work. Oh, there we go. So looks like you're to make them run into it. Oh, let me get one of those. So they don't last overly long, but if you're using something like a greatsword, I guess it's enough to get some fairly decent damage in, but using a bowgun, I think it was, you got a little bit more you have to set up with the, was the widen shot? So this right here is another thing, oh, they stopped doing it now. That was another thing you'll see when monsters start to get tired. They'll start drooling, they'll stop moving, you'll see them panting. So I know that you can catch monsters rather than hunt them, but obviously we haven't been shown how to do that yet, so I'm not sure if that's something you need to be watching out for when that happens. Man, these things are everywhere. So that's what I'm talking about with the level. On that right side there, you'll see the Great Jagras one come up. You can see that it's on the second mark out of 3 filled up. Here we go. So this is one of the things I was talking about before where I said that monsters will get into fights if they get too close to another larger monster. So you can see that it's come into the Great Jagras' hideout, and he hasn't liked that too much. But it's something you can use to your advantage if you know that there's a certain kind of...
Hopefully this does the trick.
I don't know why I tried to do that then. Let's see if this works.
Okay, now's your chance. Hurry up before you get noticed again.
There we go. But yeah, so if you know where some monsters like to hang out, or even if you know their tracks, I know that certain monsters will actually go in a certain path. You can lead them onto the trail of another one. That'll basically just help you bring it down a lot quicker than what you would normally if you were just trying to take it down yourself. So far I'm really impressed with this game. Like, I'm having heaps of fun for, you know, something I've never really been into that much. Even for something that's usually, you know, on 3DS, like I've seen gameplay of some of the older ones that were on Nintendo systems, I was like, that's not really my kind of style, but looking at the change and the difference that, you know, this console makes, obviously this is a lot more powerful console, so they've got a lot more wiggle room with it, but it's still good seeing, you know, how much they're able to change up and how detailed they're able to get. I really want to know what those things are. So we can see here that last time we were here with the Great Jagras, it went to sleep, whereas this one, the Kula Yaku, gotta learn to pronounce those names right, was actually
nice
eating.
job hunting the Kuluyaku. Select Astera from the world map so we can go home.
So there we go, finish that one off. So you do have a fair bit of time in an expedition to actually hunt monsters, but obviously that's going to depend on what kind of weapons and army you have. So if I was, hunting the T-Rex, for instance, I probably wouldn't be able to get very far. Most likely well run out of time before I did anything significant to it, and it would have left the map. But for the starting ones like the Kula Yaku and the Great Jagras, you can probably be able to take them out fairly easily in a expedition if you wanted to farm some of the parts that you need. I wonder if you can capture these as well. Yep. I think that's enough for this expedition, so we'll head back to Astera.
You can fast travel back to camp simply by selecting it from the wildlife map.
Magnifique. Don't let me down.
Alright, so we unlocked a new camp, so it's basically just another spawn point for us when we go to the ancient forest. So we'll turn in all these bounties.
Just for you. Come back soon. Magnifique.
Alright, so this is where you go to basically turn in delivery quests, so where basically she asked me to get her a few of the mega potions. Now the investigations, these are where you have to do specific tasks, so you can see it wants us to capture a Great Jagras rather than hunt one, and it does have failures, so if you faint once, let the 50 minutes expire, or 30 minutes in this case, sorry. Or if you accidentally kill the target, you lose, and you lose a retry. So you can see down the bottom there, you've got remaining attempts at 3, and you've also got rewards, so there's 2 silvers and a gold for this one. So it just means that better rewards, you get all the stuff that you get for capturing or hunting the monster you get, so it might be a better way than doing the expeditions. It just depends on what's available. And I'm not sure if you can redo the investigations whenever you want. You might be allowed to. Don't quote me on that though. Alright guys, this is where we'll leave this episode for today. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave me a comment down below. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of the newest videos coming out from my channel. Alright guys, see you in the next episode. Bye!